很强的噪声，然后
特别简单，
就是那种失真的感觉吧。
一个 pop song 的那个结构，然后加上大量的吉他噪跟和声。
荷尔蒙、造、有爱、死、失恋、炸地球、炸一切，
在北伦敦引发暴动什么的，然后说这几个人特别火，
开一个新世纪那种大门，
不一样的东西，很多年没有翻出来再听过。
巴掌伟说他最喜欢那个 JMC，
开着车然后车里降水放
迷失东京片尾
这事就疯了。
挺近嘛。
The music business has changed out of all recognition, but the reasons we make the music are pretty much the same as what they were in 1984 when we started. It's pretty simple really, we just make the kind of music that we wonder why other people don't make. And that's it, we make music to please ourselves, and if other people get into it and we're allowed to travel the world as a result, then that's great for us. Music in 1983-84, pop music, rock music, call it what you want, indie music, it just seemed to have gone in a bad direction.
Also at the time, indie music became this thing where this unambitious little thing in a corner that was just happy, you know, be small and almost insignificant. I mean, yeah, we loved the Velvet Underground, but we also loved the Rolling Stones, who are the biggest band in the world and who made great music without never compromising. And we knew that could be done.
We wanted our music to be heard by everyone, you know, not just a bunch of people that were our friends. We wanted to change music. We wanted to show people that it didn't have to be this trash that was coming out of the radio, it could also be like this.
就是我说了，我今天来其实就是为了圆我年少轻狂的时候的一个
16、17岁的时候听第一张专辑啊，觉得很震撼，从来没有听过这种类型。
05年，在一个五道口的酒吧，放他们的歌，就有人跟我说：“关了吧，这是什么声音？我说噪音吧。”
找我朋友设计了一个。然后，因为我觉得就是钉鞋复兴也有点像文物再生一样。
钉鞋鼻祖之一，太酷了！主要椰色项链就还是太酷，就是你也很难用一个语言去描述它，就是你只能想，就是太酷了，就是我也只能这么说。第一次听并没有给我很大的震撼，就是我可能我也有点慢热那种，就有的乐队是属于听第一耳朵你会觉得哇太棒了这些乐队，但有的乐队就是。你需要更长的时间去接受它，但是 你会越来越喜欢。我觉得耶稣项链应该是后者。
这张特别像，我觉得还挺像耶稣玛利亚锁链，但是我不太确定啊。我觉得还蛮像，反正就是按照那个路子做。想做一张像 Psycho Candy 那样的东西。对，我们的还算是白噪音，实际上，他们还算是比较叫 dark noise， 像我们还是 white noise， 所以用的对，但是我所说的就是学习他们就是想做一张类似他们一样的东西，其实就是平衡嘛，就是流行乐和噪音实验的那种之间做到好的平衡。
Anyway, that's my pedal, which is very hard to control, like live. So what I did live is I went into the studio and sampled some of that, so that I got. Oops. Hey, Michael. Well, we used to do this at home, and my parents well, they couldn't understand why we would call this music. We would, when we first got this pedal, I had an old Marshall 30 watt amp, which just gave you the worst, most transistor sound. And then when I plugged that in, because the guy who sold me it for it was faulty, he said it was broken. They thought I was a s***er for buying it, but it's fine. It doesn't me. It's in the studio. It comes to life.
It's back to what we said earlier, really. It was at the time we just couldn't stand the kind of music that everybody else seemed to be making at that time. And we were into a kind of a pop music that didn't seem to exist anymore, and a rock music that didn't really exist anymore. And we wanted to bring the two, pop music and noise music, together. And we couldn't understand why nobody really, in the 80s anyway, had did this. So we did it ourselves. And the album Psycho Candy, I mean, the title is all you need to say about that record. That describes what you get inside, really. And it makes everything else, reviews or descriptions, irrelevant, really. It's Psycho Candy is what it is, and Psycho Candy is what it sounds like.
演出或者是作品的时候，让他们会让人感到那种就直接真诚不骗人的那种东西。
就你们要说赋予一个乐队，它是某个时代或者是某种精神的代表，那也是就是说是其他人赋予到这个乐队上。乐队他们也可能，乐队也不会说是我们是代表什么什么，我们是代表什么什么。所以说这个事情也要问他们。
And we just express ourselves, you know, that's who we are.
Well, yeah, I mean, the other thing as well is like, I mean, you can't kind of analyse your own music too much, because if you start to do that, it can become, you know, well, it's pointless doing it, but it can sort of, music should be a bit, you know, kind of just like coming from in here to a point. And if you start to analyse what's good about your music or where your music should be going, I mean, it's a bit like, you know, sex. You wouldn't analyse sex. You wouldn't analyse an orgasm because you don't need to. It just is what it is. And if you sit down and discuss it, it might not feel as good, do you know what I mean? What is it about that orgasm that was really good? And then before you know it, you're not really enjoying it anymore. People can make of it what they will. It doesn't, you know, you either like it or you don't. That's what it comes down to. If you have to give an explanation with it, then in some way you've failed somewhere along the line. I think rock music is going to slowly die. I think rock music has been dying for decades. I think very little innovation really, and people just kind of recycling the same ideas that have been going around for a long time. Some good music, but just based on music you've already heard. But whenever I dip my toe in the water and listen to new bands, I'm always disappointed. To me, it just seems like rather anemic. The current sort of rock scene, at least. I mean, I just feel as if it's kind of saccharine and sort of rather unimportant.
You know what? I wish I listened to more music, but I think the older I get, the less I listen, or the less I hear music that really inspires me.
Get older anyway. I mean, I've got thousands of records, and I don't really need any more. You know, I don't need to. And then when you sort of you listen to some young band that sounds like Joy Division, but not as good. Well, I'd rather just listen to Joy Division, to be honest.
Obviously a classic song, I've got to hear it. And it seemed to me as if they'd done it in like 10 minutes. I don't know if you know the song, the one about Hennessy in my hand, Hennessy in my hand, Hennessy in my hand. So I don't understand mainstream music anymore. I used to kind of understand it, and I used to be irritated by it, but now I'm not even irritated by it. It seems to be, it's going over my head. And I don't hear rock and roll anymore. You know, I just don't hear rock and roll on the...
我觉得他们特别酷，就是我就这样，这就是特别酷。态度吧，我不知道这能不能说是他们的态度，就是他们呈现的这个状态。
我觉得不能用酷来形容，就我觉得酷其实有点太轻了，对他们来说。整个80年代英国撒切尔时代的那种背景，然后出现这样的就独立摇滚乐和所谓地下摇滚乐或者是青年摇滚乐那一代，我觉得是远远超过酷的，就真的是摇滚乐，就是 rock and roll 嘛。
他就还有一篇文章，就类似就写说采访那哥俩，就说你给年轻人点建议，怎么玩乐队啊？啊，那哥俩说你就把吉他拿起来，随便手摁，瞎摁，然后你就变一下手，变3回，你就变3个和弦，你就出一首歌，你就演出就得了，骂的就那意思。 所以我觉得太对了。
My definition of what's your definition of cool?
Not me anyway. I'm not very cool.
Yeah, me neither. But well, again, my kids. I mean, my kids. What was it Simone said a couple of years ago? She said, "Why do you have to make that old-fashioned music? Why can't you make something really cool?" And so, like, whatever it is, cool is. I think to the younger generation, we are not it. Which I'm not really that bothered about. So. I mean, the only advice I would give is don't listen to boring old f***ers like me. Just do it you're doing. You should know what you want, and you should just like pursue that. I mean, we just know more than anyone else what the Mary chain ought to sound like, and you know, nobody knows that better than us. So we just stick with that, really. I mean, that's what we do. That's what anybody should do that makes music. Just have a vision and sort of follow it.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming to the show. Give hey everybody.